Hey guys, how you doing today? Today I'm going to show you guys some quick guidelines to how to support in League of Legends. So first things first, I'm the realist. Anyways, so basically what you need is what items you should probably bring to your lane. Now, there is basically three different support items, the general three items. Some people like to go other things, but that's just more detailed and more later on. As you get better as a support, you'll realize some other things you might need. But for now, as a basic guideline for beginner supports, I think what's best is these three items. We have the Ancient Coin, the Relic Shield, and the Spell Thief's Edge. Each of these three items upgrade to the max would have their own abilities. For example, the Spell Thief's Edge goes up to the Frost Queen's Claim, which basically has an ability to launch a slow into a certain area. Then we got the Relic Shield. At max upgrade, it would let you put a shield around anybody that's on your team, one of your allies. And then the Ancient Coin upgrades to the Talisman of Ascension, which boosts your entire team's movement speed for a short duration. Now, what's important is when you think about these three items, depending on how you think your team's going to play, you will use different items. But for now, we're not going to talk about that because that's just an in-depth later on, very detailed and high-level thinking, or higher-level thinking, should I say. But for now, just if you're going to be a harassing type of support like me and Annie, I'll probably get a Spell Thief's Edge because I want to just auto the enemy champions or just harass them with my spells. And it also gives me coin for hitting the enemy champions, which is really good for harassing. And then we got the Relic Shield. So if I was a melee champion support, I'd probably get this one because it lets you have stacks that charge up, and as you charge up this, I'm disconnecting. That's awesome. But anyway, so you get charges, and then like when a champion is near you, you kill a minion that's on a low health bar. You can give a stack to. It takes away a stack, and basically you get the money for that minion. Also, your friendly ally is going to get the minion gold as well. Then we have the Ancient Coin, which is basically the most passive of the three in the beginning because you just stand there, and when a minion around you dies, you get the gold. That's it. That's very basic. And of course, you can just look into the details of what the stats give you. I'm not going to go too deep into that. Alright, so for now, I'm just going to get the Spell Thief's Edge and some potions, and most importantly, my warding totem for the early safety, semi-safety from the ganks. And I'm just going to go to my lane, right? And while you're in your lane, you're going to be partnered up with an ADC preferably, so a marksman, someone that has range basically. And what you're going to do is you're going to be laning with your partner. In this case, I don't really have a partner because this is a custom game and I'm just showing you guys some quick guidelines. Hopefully this video doesn't get too long. But anyways, so what you're going to do is you would do your thing here, support your ADC as much as possible, try to do some plays and whatnot, and hopefully things will turn out good, and then you'll have enough money to go back and buy your Sightstone, which I think is quite important in my opinion. So Sightstone, if you type in Sightstone, this is probably the most important support item you ever need, so never ever not buy this. This is like the most important item in my opinion in terms of cost efficiency and just generally good to use as a support. And I don't have enough right now, so I'm just going to farm up a little bit right now and then I'll go buy later. Alright, so now that I have enough gold, I'm just going to go back in a good opportunity. When you have a good chance to go back, you should do it. And that's because you want to get your Sightstone as soon as possible to help get some vision down for the safety of your ADC and yourself. So I'm going to go get this, and then if I need, I'll just get a pink ward. Now that you have all the sight that you need, all the vision that you need, you don't really need this warding totem anymore, so you can switch this out to the sweeping lens right here so that you can sweep out the enemy supports wards or any wards in general. And then you would go back to your lane, Now, some good spots to place a ward when you're playing bot lane is generally this area, which covers the tri-bush. So if an enemy decides to come through this way and go here, then they can try to gank you from behind if you're shoved up more towards the enemy side. Or the second ward that you would put down, it would probably be around here, either here, or if you want, maybe even higher if you think you can see them and predict them earlier. So I'm just going to show you guys an example. Now I got the pink ward because it lasts basically forever unless someone takes it down. So what you're going to do is you're going to place the pink ward here. This pink ward reviews enemy invisible wards as well, so it's very valuable, and if the enemy doesn't clear it, you can have that for as long as you want and the value just goes up. And then I would place a ward here probably just so that I can have vision of the dragon, which is very important, but I will not go into detail about that. You'll probably learn about that later on, but dragon is very important in terms of control of the game. And you can also probably place a ward here if you really think that someone could come from this direction and just have a dash spell or some type of teleport spell that goes over here. And basically that's where the spots you should probably ward as a support, although you could ward here in case you don't want to, you want to avoid like a blitzcrank hook or a thresh hook, or you can ward here if you guys are all shoved up into this area right here. Other than that, and also it prevents, I forgot to mention, it prevents ganks from the enemy jungler as well. So if the enemy jungler comes from this direction and it sneaks into this bush right here while you guys are up all over here, so you couldn't see the bush. So they could hide here while the enemy pretends to play the regular game that they're playing. You could be ganked from literally right next to your ADC or right next to yourself. And that's a good ward to place as well right here. And also what's good is if you're playing in a higher skilled game, basically, the enemy top lane, your top laner should be able to teleport. Your top laner will be up here. Be able to teleport down here knowing the right situation and come help you gank. But for now, we're not going to worry about that because you're here watching this video probably because you're not at that level yet. So you're probably just going to get some tips and guides on how to play a simple support. Now the scanner itself that I use, you can use it to scan for wards. So say this is an enemy ward that they put in. You want to deny them a vision as much as possible. So you can scan this ward and then you can kill it. But of course it's not the enemy's ward, it's my ward, so I can't really kill it. But you get the idea. Now I'm going to go back to base and I'm going to show you guys some other things that you probably should know as a support. Alright, so once you're back at base, you're level 9 or above, you can come to your scanner and you can actually upgrade it for 250 gold so that you can scan even wider areas. So what this does is it not only does the scanner now scan the area that you wish to scan, it for a short duration of the period you can walk around and it also scans the areas that you come across. So areas around you when you're walking, you can also see enemy wards if they are there. And what this does is it denies the vision even more so for the enemy, so they can't see anything. And that's so important in a game when you're playing and the enemy doesn't see what you're doing, so they can't predict what you're doing, and you can do so much more, and it opens up the map. Now for summoner spells, as you guys probably noticed if you know the game a little bit, you should probably have either flash or something. Most likely flash, but I just took both spells just to show you guys what I think is 2 essential spells for support. Exhaust is probably the dominant summoner spell that you would take over most spells. Occasionally you would take the ignite depending on the type of matchup, the type of play style you're going for. So if you're trying to get kills early and you're going for an aggressive plays, and depending on your champion, maybe like a Thresh or a Blitzcrank, you can get the ignite and you can just grab them and then you can ignite them and it kills them, basically instant kill, free kill right there. But let me explain to you guys what I think is important as a support that you should get these 2 spells. First of all, Exhaust is a great spell to basically slow down and also reduce the damage of the enemy champions. So if you're reducing their damage and their movement speed, you can basically secure a chase down kill for anybody on your team. And it's also great against assassins, anybody that has a lot of damage outburst really quickly. And it's great for overall just making the fight a lot easier for you and your carries, and then reduces their armor too. And then the exhaust, it's great for champions like for example Mundo or a Volibear, because it stops them from healing themselves by 50%, I believe. Yep, Grievous Wound. And basically it does damage to them slowly for 130 true damage. So armor, it doesn't matter what kind of armor you have, magic armor, magic resist, or regular armor, which is great. So if you want to secure a free kill early and you're really aggressive, you can get Ignite, or you can be the more safe, but also it's great for making plays, Exhaust. And I just got a warning because long periods of idleness. That's awesome. Alright, I gotta get back to lane. Alright, so now that we're back in the Dragon Pit, here's something very important as a support that I think you should really focus on, is the dragon control area. So what you're gonna do is you should probably set up for dragon if you guys are thinking about doing dragon. For example, if the dragon was taken and you have the timer up here, you can always as a support, you should always focus on when the dragon will come back and spawn soon, like within a minute. If the dragon is coming back, you should probably set up for dragon. And depending on which side you are, you should probably, for example, if I'm on the blue side, you probably want to place a ward here and a ward here, just for vision of in case the enemy comes from these two directions and trying to stop you from doing a dragon. And that's great because once you have vision and you're doing dragon, if you think you can't fight this and the enemy's coming, you can actually run away. It allows your team to know ahead of time and interpret the information that you need to decide if you want to fight them or you want to leave. And also great to put a ward over here, just so that in case somebody tries to steal it from this direction of the Dragon Pit. And then if you are on the red side, for example, if I was on this side of the team and I'm over here, what I would probably want to do is, as to set up dragon, I would probably want to place a ward here, and I would probably want to place a ward here. It's either here or here, and maybe if you really want to be safe, you can place a ward here, because generally they will not come from behind you, I would hope. If anything, you only have a certain amount of wards, so you probably should make the best by placing it in places that you think enemies could be coming from. So you could be here, you could possibly place a ward here or here. Those are all great ward choices. It just all depends on how the game looks at the moment. So depending on if your teammates are warding as well, you can decide as to which place you want to place a ward. So just for your own, it's your own interpretation of the game, depending on how you think is right. And then you can come over here and scan the Dragon Pit for enemy wards, so they can't really see what's going on in the Dragon Pit. And if you really want to, if you have the upgraded version of the trinket, you can scan an area and walk all the way around the entire pit just for wards and stuff, so that the enemy can't really see what you're doing, and it makes it harder for them to try to steal it or even engage in a fight because they don't know what's going on. Now, as the game progresses towards mid-game, when the Baron spawns, this is also a very important objective of the game. And if you're on the blue side, you want to get this ward in. You probably want to ward this area. And also, if you really think is necessary, you can ward here or even here. That's fine, as long as you get vision of the back of the Baron Pit. You can know when the enemy's coming to try to steal it, or even stop them from stealing it from you. And then if you're on the red side, you probably want to place a ward here and here. Those are two good spots for placing a ward. And if you really want to be safe, probably place a ward here and maybe a ward here. So those are the pretty good spots. Like I said before, it really depends on what you interpret the game and how you think wards are necessary in terms of vision to stop the enemy from approaching you and letting you interpret the situation faster and letting your team know what to do. So yeah, that's basically the entire simple guideline of a support and what you probably should do. If you do these following things, it should let you have a decent game as a support, at least. Just keep in mind, you gotta keep your mindset as the support role. You gotta be always helping your teammates. You're not going for kills. You're trying to protect your carries. So you have to have the mindset of being able to die for them and being very selfless, so that you can sacrifice yourself for the good of the team. And you're not going to be doing any crazy multi-kills probably. If you do, that's great, but usually you should probably give your kills to the carries, because you're a support and you don't really need that. And that's basically it. I think that's what I've been able to cover for now. I'm not sure, maybe some other things could come up later on, and for those that watch the video think that other things are needed for this simple guideline, please feel free to add it in the comments below, because like I said, this is just a simple, very simple, watered down version of a guide to how to support at least semi good, at least being semi support like, in my opinion. These are some of the things that are very important. And I'm not pro or anything. I'm not like the best player in the world, and I don't even main support, but I'm just doing this for all the friends that I try to introduce this game to, and they want to learn how to support, and this just saves me a lot of explanation for 100th time. And basically, yeah, thank you for watching, and I hope this helped you a little bit, and I'll see you guys later. Bye.